Let me read to you a passage from the second chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, verses 36 to 40. It's the Gospel for the 6th day in the octave of Christmas. St. Luke writes, "There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshipped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting the redemption of Jerusalem. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favour of God was upon him." That's from Luke chapter 2, verses 36 to 40. What does it suggest to us? Well, yesterday, the 5th day of the octave of Christmas, St. Luke presented us with the figure of Simeon, who uttered prophetic words about the child. At that moment, he acted as a prophet, moved by the Holy Spirit. In our Gospel passage today that I read, our gaze is drawn to another prophet, the prophetess Anna. So let us contemplate her. In denoting Anna as a prophetess, St. Luke would seem to be implying that often in the course of her long life, and especially during her days in the temple, she spoke under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. When people heard her, what they were hearing were at times the words of God. Her life and her figure is a very beautiful one, holy and constant. St. Luke's information about her may have come from Our Lady, Mary. Perhaps Mary had known Anna since her childhood, and, well, who knows, her information about Anna's life may have come from her parents and grandparents. Whatever be the source of information, Luke's account gives exact years and definite information about her early and her later life, well before Our Lady herself had been born. Anna had been profoundly given to God, and the Holy Spirit led her constantly, often making her his prophetic mouthpiece. And now, as with Simeon, the climax of her life arrived, and she beheld the Messiah. She gave thanks to God and spoke of him to all who, like her, were awaiting what God had promised. In this, she is a little like John the Baptist years later. In this circle of faithful people, we seem to have before us a picture of what God expected of man for the years and centuries to come, and which was all too often lacking. The word came among his own, and very frequently his own did not receive him. Having pointed to Anna, St. Luke invites us to contemplate the growing child. The Holy Family returns to Galilee, as we heard in the Gospel passage, to their own town of Nazareth, and there the child grows. We are told that he became strong and was filled with wisdom. Though hidden in the obscurity of this backwater village, a great man was emerging. He was strong, and his strength would show itself finally in his passion and death, when he would bear the sins of all mankind. He was strong in mind, heart and soul, and undoubtedly physically strong too. There was indeed no weakness in him, and if strength is characteristically a note of true manhood, the child was becoming the man par excellence. In the best sense of the word, he was invincible. Furthermore, there have been strong men in history, but this strength has all too often not been accompanied with wisdom. Not so Jesus of Nazareth. In his case, we have a man of great strength, who was filled with wisdom. He made no mistakes. His judgment was unerring, and there was nothing he could not have done had he so chosen. He was a perfect man, and the favour of God was upon him. If Mary, his mother, was a creature beyond compare in the sight of God, which she was, and Joseph, her husband, a soul worthy of such a wife. What could we say of the man growing in their midst? He was simply a wonder, and yet ever so humble, and buried in a quiet and industrious obscurity. We cannot adequately appreciate the circumstance of such a holy family living in such an ordinary setting. There is no fanfare for 30 years, none whatever. Anna the prophetess seems to have enjoyed a certain, though limited, religious fame. Not so the three members of the Holy Family. Our Lady is never referred to as a prophetess, nor is Joseph called a prophet. Yet in holiness these two exceeded all of them, not to speak of their incomparable son. All of this surely speaks of the powerful action of God at work in the ordinary life. Anna the prophetess was a widow who spent her days and nights in the temple. Her holiness was known to some extent, but the round of her daily life was in no way spectacular. With Jesus, Mary and Joseph this was even more so. Yet their holiness was so very great. Let us learn from this the grandeur of the ordinary life, and how God can do his work no matter how limited seem our prospects.